In the annals of American criminal history, few cases have captivated the public's attention like that of Caylee Anthony, a 2-year-old girl from Orlando, Florida, whose disappearance and tragic death in 2008 sent shockwaves across the nation. The subsequent trial of her mother, Caylee Anthony, became a media spectacle, leaving many questions unanswered and the public divided. But what if there was more to this story than what was presented in court? What if someone witnessed the events leading up to Caylee's death but remained silent out of fear? This is the story of that hidden witness, a tale of guilt, coercion, and the heavy burden of knowing the truth. Our story begins in a quiet neighborhood in Orlando, Florida, where the Anthony family resided. Their home, like many others, was nestled among tree-lined streets, a seemingly idyllic setting that would soon become the epicenter of a national tragedy. On June 16, 2008, Caylee Anthony left her parents' house with her daughter, Caylee. This day would mark the last time Caylee was seen alive by her grandparents. According to Caylee, she was taking Caylee to visit a nanny named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, affectionately referred to as Zani. However, investigations later revealed that this nanny never existed, a fabrication in a web of lies that Caylee would spin over the coming weeks. Unbeknownst to the Anthony family, their next-door neighbor, whom we'll refer to as Alex to protect their identity, had been observing the household for some time. Alex, a private investigator by profession, had moved to the neighborhood seeking a quiet life away from the dangers of his job. However, his instincts for observation remained sharp. This next part changes everything. But before we get into it, take a second to subscribe, because we break down cases like this in ways no one else does. Do yourself a favor to stay to the end, because this story is deeper than you think. There is a revelation that you need to hear. On that fateful day, Alex noticed something unusual. He observed Caylee and Caylee leaving the house, but there was an air of tension, something that didn't sit right with his seasoned intuition. He brushed it off, attributing it to his overactive imagination, a remnant of years spent in investigative work. Days turned into weeks, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. He noticed that Caylee's car, a white Pontiac Sunfire, was often absent from the driveway, and when it did appear, there was a distinct, foul odor emanating from it. This detail would later become a significant piece of evidence during the investigation. One evening, while taking a walk near the woods adjacent to the Anthony residence, Alex stumbled upon a black trash bag emitting a strong, unpleasant smell. His instincts told him to investigate further, but the fear of what he might uncover held him back. He convinced himself it was merely discarded garbage and walked away, a decision that would haunt him in the months to come. On July 15, 2008, a full month after Caylee was last seen, her grandmother, Cindy Anthony, reported her missing. The 911 call revealed a frantic grandmother desperate for answers, stating that she hadn't seen her granddaughter for 31 days and that her daughter's car smelled like a dead body had been inside it. This call would be the catalyst for a nationwide search and a media frenzy. As search teams scoured the area, Alex's guilt grew. He recalled the trash bag in the woods and the odor from Caylee's car. Torn between coming forward and the potential repercussions, he chose to remain silent, hoping that the authorities would find Caylee safe and sound. In December 2008, a meter reader named Roy Kronk discovered skeletal remains in a wooded area near the Anthony residence, the same area where Alex had found the trash bag months earlier. The remains were confirmed to be those of Caylee Anthony, bringing a tragic end to the search but marking the beginning of a complex legal battle. The trial of Caylee Anthony commenced in 2011, with the prosecution alleging that Caylee had murdered her daughter to free herself from parental responsibilities. The defense countered with claims of accidental drowning and familial dysfunction. The nation watched as evidence was presented, including the odor from the car and internet searches for chloroform on the Anthony family computer. Throughout the trial, Caylee's demeanor was scrutinized, her lack of emotion, her inconsistent statements, and her behavior during the 31 days Caylee was missing. The prosecution painted a picture of a young mother desperate for freedom, while the defense highlighted a dysfunctional family dynamic and alleged abuse. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury found Caylee Anthony not guilty of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter of a child. She was found guilty on 4 counts of providing false information to law enforcement. The verdict shocked the nation, leading to widespread outrage and debate about the justice system. In the realm of true crime, few cases have gripped the American psyche as profoundly as that of Caylee Anthony, a 2-year-old girl from Orlando, Florida. whose 2008 disappearance and subsequent death remain shrouded in controversy and speculation. While the legal proceedings concluded with the acquittal of her mother, Caylee Anthony, the quest for justice seemed unfulfilled for many. But what if justice sought its own path, beyond the confines of the courtroom? What if Caylee's spirit reached out from the beyond, influencing the lives of those connected to her untimely demise? The Anthony residence, located in a suburban neighborhood of Orlando, Florida, became the focal point of media attention during the summer of 2008. As search efforts intensified and the case garnered national headlines, the house stood as a silent witness to the unfolding tragedy. Throughout the investigation and the 2011 trial, Caylee Anthony's behavior was scrutinized by both the public and the media. Her demeanor, often perceived as detached, fueled public outrage and earned her the moniker America's Most Hated Mom. Despite the prosecution's efforts, the jury acquitted Caylee of the most severe charges, leaving many to question the justice system's efficacy. Enter Sarah Mitchell, an investigative journalist based in Orlando, Florida, known for her tenacity and dedication to uncovering the truth. Drawn to the unresolved aspects of the Anthony case, Sarah embarked on a journey to explore the possibility of paranormal involvement, a path less traveled in mainstream journalism. Sarah began her investigation by visiting the site where Caylee's remains were found, a wooded area near the Anthony residence. Equipped with recording devices and cameras, during her nighttime investigation, Sarah's equipment recorded faint whispers and unexplained movements. While skeptics might attribute these to environmental factors, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was trying to communicate. As Sarah delved deeper, she uncovered unsettling patterns among individuals connected to the case. Several key figures reported experiencing inexplicable phenomena, objects moving on their own, disembodied voices, and vivid nightmares featuring Caylee. One juror, who wished to remain anonymous, recounted a series of disturbing events following the trial. They described hearing a child's laughter in their home during the night and finding toys inexplicably moved from their original positions. The juror expressed profound guilt over the verdict, wondering if these occurrences were manifestations of a restless spirit seeking justice. The intrigue deepened when a key witness from the trial was found dead under mysterious circumstances. The official cause was deemed natural, but those close to the individual reported a sudden onset of paranoia and claims of being haunted in the weeks leading up to their death. Sarah's investigation led her to analyze electronic voice phenomena captured during her visits to significant locations related to the case. In one recording, a child's voice can be faintly heard saying, "Mommy, why?" A chilling question that resonated deeply with the unresolved emotions surrounding the case. If this case is blowing your mind, imagine what else we uncover. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive like this. To further explore the paranormal angle, Sarah consulted with a renowned spiritual medium. During a seance, the medium claimed to connect with a young spirit seeking peace, expressing confusion and a desire for truth. While such sessions are met with skepticism, the details provided eerily aligned with aspects of Caylee's life. Compiling testimonies, recordings, and personal experiences, Sarah crafted a comprehensive report suggesting that Caylee's spirit might be reaching out, influencing the physical world to draw attention to unresolved truths. In recent years, Caylee Anthony has re-emerged in the public eye, attempting to reintroduce herself through social media platforms. Despite her acquittal, public opinion remains largely unforgiving, with many unable to separate her past from her present endeavors. Sarah's work garnered attention from the paranormal community, leading to discussions and debates about the possibility of spirits seeking justice. While mainstream science remains skeptical, the patterns observed in the Anthony case present a compelling narrative that challenges conventional understanding. Whether one believes in the paranormal or not, the story of Caylee Anthony serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring human desire for justice. As the years pass, her memory continues to evoke reflection on the complexities of truth, the limitations of the legal system, and the mysteries that lie beyond our comprehension. The 2-year-old's disappearance in Orlando, Florida, in 2008, and the subsequent trial of her mother, Caylee Anthony, left an indelible mark on the nation's consciousness. But what if, beneath the layers of documented events, there existed an uncharted dimension, a relentless time loop ensnaring key individuals, compelling them to relive the harrowing sequence repeatedly, each iteration peeling back new layers of the elusive truth. The genesis of the loop. It begins with Detective John Martinez, a seasoned investigator with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Haunted by unresolved facets of the Anthony case, Martinez becomes obsessed with uncovering the absolute truth. One fateful night, while poring over case files, he experiences a disorienting sensation, a blinding light, a deafening silence. And then, abruptly, he finds himself back on July 15, 2008, the day Caylee was reported missing. Unbeknownst to his colleagues, Martinez is now trapped in a time loop, destined to relive this day until he unravels the mystery. In the initial loop, Martinez adheres to standard procedures. He interviews Casey Anthony, who maintains that Caylee is with a nanny named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, a claim that leads investigators to a vacant apartment and a non-existent caregiver. The detective's familiarity with these events allows him to scrutinize details with heightened acuity. He notices Casey's inconsistent demeanor, her evasive answers, and the inexplicable delay in reporting her daughter's disappearance. However, as the day concludes without significant breakthroughs, Martinez is abruptly thrust back to the morning of July 15, 2008. With each recurrence, Martinez probes deeper into the Anthony family's dynamics. He observes the palpable tension between Casey and her parents, George and Cindy Anthony. Cindy's 911 call stands out, wherein she reports that it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car, referring to Casey's vehicle. This statement, laden with implication, becomes a focal point in Martinez's investigation. He delves into forensic reports detailing the detection of chloroform in the car's trunk and the presence of hair strands exhibiting signs of decomposition. These elements, though circumstantial, weave a tapestry of suspicion. As the loops persist, Martinez grapples with the psychological toll of his predicament. The monotony of repetition is punctuated by incremental discoveries, subtle nuances and witness testimonies, overlooked evidence, and the pervasive media frenzy that both aids and obstructs the investigation. He becomes acutely aware of the public's polarized perception of Casey Anthony, dubbed America's most hated mom, and the trial by media that unfolds alongside the legal proceedings. This external pressure cooker influences the behaviors of those involved, adding layers of complexity to the case. In one iteration, Martinez shifts his focus to digital footprints. He uncovers internet search histories from the Anthony household computer, revealing queries about chloroform, neck breaking, and foolproof suffocation. These searches, conducted in the days leading up to Caylee's disappearance, suggest premeditation. Martinez cross-references this with Casey's known whereabouts, constructing a timeline that tightens the noose of suspicion around her. However, each time he approaches a definitive conclusion, the loop resets, erasing tangible progress but leaving him with an ever-deepening understanding of the case's intricacies. Parallel to Martinez's ordeal, juror number 8, a woman named Linda, finds herself ensnared in a similar temporal anomaly. After delivering a not guilty verdict, Linda is plagued by doubts and what-ifs. She awakens to the first day of deliberations repeatedly, each cycle allowing her to reassess the evidence, the defense's narrative of accidental drowning, and the prosecution's assertion of foul play. Linda's internal conflict mirrors the broader societal debate, encapsulating the struggle between reasonable doubt and moral conviction. In a twist of fate, Casey Anthony herself becomes aware of the looping reality. Initially, she exploits the resets to refine her defense strategies, manipulating public perception and media portrayals. However, the incessant repetition forces her to confront her own psyche. Memories blur, guilt surfaces, and the boundary between innocence and culpability erodes. Casey's interactions with her legal team, particularly lead attorney Jose Baez, take on new dimensions as she grapples with the weight of her daughter's death and her role in the ensuing chaos. The loop's climax, convergence of perspectives. As the loops converge, Martinez, Linda, and Casey find themselves at a metaphysical crossroads. Each possesses fragments of the truth, yet the cyclical nature of their existence prevents resolution. Martinez's relentless pursuit of justice, Linda's quest for moral clarity, and Casey's struggle with self-identity intertwine, creating a mosaic of human experience against the backdrop of tragedy. The time loop becomes a purgatorial space where the search for truth is both the journey and the destination. The loop persists until each individual reaches a point of acceptance. Martinez acknowledges that some mysteries remain unsolved. Linda reconciles her verdict with the evidence presented, and Caylee confronts her inner demons. This collective acceptance shatters the temporal cycle, propelling them forward in time. As it can be recalled that Cindy Anthony, Caylee's grandmother, made a frantic 911 call reporting her granddaughter missing for 31 days. This alarming revelation set off a chain of events that would thrust the Anthony family into the national spotlight. Caylee Anthony, Caylee's mother, was soon arrested and charged with her daughter's murder. However, as the investigation progressed, inconsistencies and peculiarities emerged, leading some to believe that there was more to the story than met the eye. The emergence of conspiracy theories. As the public delved deeper into the case, several conspiracy theories began to surface. 1. Family involvement. Some speculated that members of the Anthony family, particularly Caylee's father, George Anthony, played a more significant role in the events leading up to Caylee's death. Allegations arose suggesting that George may have been involved in covering up the incident to protect family secrets. These claims were fueled by Caylee's own assertions during psychological evaluations, where she proposed alternative theories regarding Caylee's death. 2. Accidental death cover-up. Another prevalent theory posited that Caylee's death was accidental and that the subsequent actions were attempts to conceal this mishap. The presiding judge in Caylee Anthony's trial suggested that the mother may have killed her daughter by accident. 3. External parties. Some theories ventured further, suggesting that external parties, such as a wealthy individual or a secret organization, orchestrated events to manipulate the outcome of the trial or to divert attention from other matters. These theories, while lacking concrete evidence, highlight the extent to which the public sought alternative explanations for the tragedy. The role of media and public perception. The media played a pivotal role in shaping public perception of the case. Sensationalist reporting and 24-hour news cycles kept the story in the public eye, often blurring the lines between factual reporting and entertainment. This environment allowed conspiracy theories to flourish, as audiences grappled with the dissonance between the evidence presented and the narratives portrayed. Investigative challenges and unanswered questions. Several aspects of the investigation fueled speculation. Forensic evidence. The forensic analysis of the case presented challenges, with debates over the interpretation of evidence such as the presence of chloroform and the decomposition odor in Caylee's car. Digital footprints. Later revelations indicated that certain computer searches were overlooked during the initial investigation, leading to questions about the thoroughness of the forensic analysis. Behavioral anomalies. Caylee's behavior during the investigation, including her documented falsehoods and demeanor, led to public skepticism and fueled alternative theories about her involvement and the possible influence of others. The detective's pursuit of truth. Amidst the swirling theories and public outcry, a seasoned detective took it upon himself to delve deeper into the case. Driven by a commitment to uncovering the truth, he meticulously reviewed case files, re-interviewed witnesses, and explored leads that had previously been dismissed. His investigation aimed to either substantiate or debunk the prevailing conspiracy theories, seeking justice for Caylee Anthony. The tragic case of Caylee Anthony remains a poignant reminder of the complexities inherent in high-profile criminal investigations. The proliferation of conspiracy theories underscores the public's struggle to reconcile unanswered questions and the desire for a clear narrative. While some theories may hold elements of truth, others serve as reflections of societal fears and mistrust. Ultimately, the pursuit of truth continues, honoring the memory of a young life lost too soon. During the investigation, Caylee Anthony underwent psychological evaluations. Psychiatrist Dr. Jeffrey Danziger reported that Anthony exhibited no signs of mental illness and had normal results on psychological tests. Similarly, forensic psychologist Dr. Harry Kropp found no evidence of significant mental disorders during his assessment. Despite these findings, Caylee's behavior raised questions. She did not report her daughter missing for 31 days, a period during which she was seen socializing and participating in various activities. This apparent detachment from the gravity of her daughter's disappearance led to public speculation about her psychological state. Throughout the trial, the defense presented allegations of familial dysfunction and abuse, suggesting that Caylee's behavior was a result of deep-seated psychological trauma. However, these claims were not substantiated with concrete evidence, and the psychological evaluations did not support the presence of such trauma. The case highlighted the complexities of human behavior and the challenges in understanding the psychological dimensions of individuals involved in criminal investigations. Despite extensive evaluations and public scrutiny, the true nature of Caylee Anthony's psychological state remains a subject of debate. The Caylee Anthony case is one of the most infamous criminal cases in American history, not just because of the tragic death of Caylee Anthony, but also due to the unsettling circumstances surrounding the trial and its ultimate verdict. The case is riddled with contradictions, deception, and deep psychological intrigue, making it a true crime mystery that continues to provoke debate to this day. At its core, this case began with the disappearance of 2-year-old Caylee Anthony in Orlando, Florida, in mid-2008. However, what set it apart from other missing child cases was the behavior of her mother, Caylee Anthony. For 31 days, Caylee did not report her daughter missing. Instead, she was seen partying, getting tattoos, and acting as though nothing was wrong. When confronted by her mother, Cindy Anthony, Caylee claimed Caylee was with a nanny, Zani the nanny, a person who was later revealed to be completely fictional. When police finally got involved, Caylee's ever-changing stories immediately raised suspicion. First, there was the fabricated nanny, then claims that she was conducting her own investigation. A mountain of red flags piled up, from the foul smell in the trunk of Caylee's car, which experts suggested was human decomposition, to forensic evidence of chloroform and decomposition found in the vehicle. Yet, despite all of this, the prosecution struggled to present a direct cause of death. The remains of Caylee were found in December 2008 in a wooded area near the Anthony home, too decomposed to determine an exact cause. The duct tape found near her skull was argued to be the murder weapon, but defense attorneys countered that this was inconclusive. What made this case even more disturbing was Caylee's apparent ability to lie without remorse. She spun intricate falsehoods, fooling investigators, friends, and even family. This behavior led many to question whether she was a pathological liar or someone suffering from a deep psychological disorder. Her defense argued that Caylee grew up in a highly dysfunctional home, alleging that she had been sexually abused by her father, George Anthony, and that this trauma led her to develop coping mechanisms rooted in deception. However, George Anthony denied these claims, and no concrete evidence was provided to support them. The theory of accidental drowning was also introduced, suggesting that Caylee drowned in the family pool, and Caylee's bizarre behavior was simply an extreme reaction to a cover-up. If Caylee had truly convinced herself of an alternate reality, one where she had nothing to do with Caylee's death, this could suggest a psychological phenomenon known as dissociative disorder. Some people who experience extreme trauma or guilt subconsciously suppress memories or create an altered version of reality to protect themselves. Could Caylee Anthony have actually believed her own lies? The shock of the acquittal. When the trial concluded in July 2011, the jury acquitted Caylee of first-degree murder, aggravated manslaughter, and aggravated child abuse, convicting her only of 4 counts of providing false information to law enforcement. The public reaction was explosive. Outrage, disbelief, and fury flooded social media, news broadcasts, and public forums. Many believed that while the prosecution had substantial circumstantial evidence, they failed to provide definitive proof of how Caylee died. The defense played on this reasonable doubt and successfully convinced the jury that there was no solid evidence tying Caylee directly to Caylee's death. Yet, even with the acquittal, Caylee Anthony remains one of the most hated and controversial figures in modern crime history. Many still believe she got away with murder. The biggest question remains, what really happened to Caylee Anthony? Did Caylee murder her daughter in cold blood? Was it an accident covered up in a panic? Or was it something even more complicated, something so psychologically twisted that even Caylee herself may not know the full truth? Regardless of the answer, the death of Caylee Anthony was a tragic injustice. A 2-year-old girl lost her life, and despite the years of investigations, media trials, and public scrutiny, no one has ever been held accountable.